Good morning. My name is Kevin Anderson. I'm the president of HMG Partners. We're proud to offer the Buy It Now 90 program, which is a patented pending program offered through secure payment systems. I want to apologize for the low quality video. I'm not quite sure how to work our HD camera, and our tech guy is out sick this week, and I'm using the webcam on my computer, so I apologize in advance. But if you have any questions on what we're going to go over, please feel free to give me a call on my cell phone or at the office. I wanted to answer a few basic questions. We're going to do this in a couple different videos just to help you understand the program, to make sure you can relay the message to the merchants, to make sure it's sold properly, and to make sure everybody gets the best value out of the program that they can. We don't have to tell you the crisis that America is in right now. 60% of Americans, of all Americans, have less than $1,000 in the bank. They have, it's like over 50-some% have access to no new credit, or their credit limits are already reached. So we're in an economic meltdown. But yet we find many families still need products, goods, and services that are just typically out of reach right now. And that's where this program comes into effect. It's designed for the working man or the working lady who just doesn't have the funds available, but they could pay for that goods or services over the next 90 days. And how do we know the program works? Besides the success that we've had here, if you'll go down and look down your street in any town in America, it's going to be covered with check advance places, title loans, title max, places giving money for your title of your car, or for your next advance on your next paycheck. And they're in business all over America in every town. And in my opinion, I know that some people just don't have a choice, but it's really an expensive way to do business. And so the advantage of our program is typically our costs are going to be about 75% less than those checks advance places or our title loan places. So there's a definite need for this opportunity. Now, with that being said, let's talk about what are the conditions for customer approval. Well, first of all, they have to have a personal checking account. It cannot be a business account. This is for personal accounts only. It has to be active, preferably for at least 6 months. And they have to have a government-issued photo ID, such as a driver's license or just a state-issued ID or a passport, something like that, that has their picture and name on it. The customer then fills out a short application, and the salesperson will make an 800 call, and they will run that through the customer service on our end, will run that through a national database to check for any recent or history of bad checks. Now, credit score or credit issues are not really, credit challenges are not really an issue, but customers typically are declined if they have 2 or more accounts over 60 days past due. And this comes more into effect when that purchase is over $600. If it's under 600, typically it's their name and social security number is just ran through that national database of check writing history. But if it's over 600, they're going to take a look to see if they have 2 or more accounts over 60 days past due. However, with that being said, customers are approved if they have, past credit challenges and even bankruptcy. And we don't really know until the customer applies. So as long as they don't have, current bad checks, and they know they don't have any federal tax liens or state tax liens, I would encourage your sales rep to go ahead and ask them to apply for the transaction. If they're declined, there's no charge, and it only takes a matter of minutes to get an answer. Our organization as a whole runs over a 75, or let's back up. Our organization as an HMG Partners, runs over a 75% approval rate. The company as a whole runs about a 65 to 70% approval rate. So not everybody's approved, but a good majority are. And if you look at some of these other in-store credits, like at the dentist office or the tire store, or sometimes the auto mechanics or transmission shops, even your department stores, their instant credit, if you go in and talk to them, typically they run less than a 40% approval rate right now. So we're well above that, and it's a great opportunity for the merchant to get business he wouldn't have, and for the merchant's customer to have the products, goods, or services that they just don't have the cash for today, but they have the need for it. So what is the customer application look like? Well, it's very short. We'll put some links up here in a second. But all it's going to ask for, it's about the size of a business check, however big a business check is. But it asks for their name, their address, their phone number, where they work, if they have if they have employment, and their social security number. That's it. The merchant then fills out the total amount of the sale, including the fees. They're going to call our 800 number, and they're going to say, okay, this is Joe's Tire Store. I have Kevin Anderson here. This is his address. This is his phone number. This is his social security number. The total purchase today is $1,000. Now, one or two things are going to happen. You're going to get an approval or a decline. If you get the approval, they're going to say, okay, Joe, Mr. Anderson is approved. These are his approval codes for check number 1, blah, 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 blah. Check number 2, blah, 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 blah. Check number 3, da, 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 da. Check number 4, da, 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 da. And so they're going to give you the da, 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 blah, 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 blah. That's the approval code. They're going to give you those approval codes, which you're going to write down on that application. Now, we go back to the customer and we say you're approved, and these are, your total is $1,000. These are your amounts. The check due today is 1/3 down. The balance is due in 30, 60, and 90 days. So you're going to take that balance and divide that by 3 and get those amounts. He's going to go ahead and write you, or she is going to write you those checks today, and you're going to upload them into the scanner, which is going to go to Secure Payment Systems. And in that 30, 60, and 90 days, those checks are going to be turned into electronic transactions and automatically, or ACH, Auto Clearinghouse, from the customer's account to SPS. Now your merchant is going to get 100% of their funds within 2 days. Now that's 2 days of the batch closing. The equipment is pre-programmed to batch out at midnight, so all the sales for that particular day, just like their credit card machines, will be uploaded to SPS, to the bank, and then within 2 days they'll have all that money directly deposited into their checking account. So we're going to go into the merchant side a little bit later. This video is for the customer side. So what are the customer's costs? Well, if approved, they have a $15 application fee. So that's $15. And then 9.95% of the transaction. So and again, it depends on how your merchant wants to do this. We have the merchant. Some merchants absorb that fee. Others pass the total cost on. So before we can actually say what are the customer costs, we have to know what the merchant's going to do. But we know the merchant's going to be charged a $15 application fee, which is passed to the customer, and 9.95% of the transaction, and then he has a small transaction fee as well. So typically, if the merchant adds around 11% of the total, then it'll cover all of his costs less his lease. So let's back up and do that. So what are the customer costs? Well, they have a $15 application fee if approved. If declined, there's no fees, and 11% of the total. So if we go back and look at the example that we just did, 11% would be 11 or $110. So their total would be $1,110 when that merchant calls into SPS and asks what the total is, because SPS deals only with the total. They will not add any fees for you, and they will not divide the checks for you. And we'll go into that a little bit later in the next video. So back to the customer cost. Uh, on this transaction of $15 because I was approved, and my total cost is $1,110, and I paid 11% transaction fee on that, so 110 plus the 15. My cost was $125 for that $1,000 purchase, and I'm going to pay 1/3 down today, and the balance divided into 3 equal payments in 30, 60, and 90 days. I'm writing all 4 checks today, dating them today, so that the merchant can upload them and turn them into electronic payments on the days that are necessary. How many transactions can a customer do? Well, they can do as many as they get qualified for, but they can only do one at a time. So you can't buy these tires today and then go out next week and get a new refrigerator using the same program. Even if it's at a different location, I'm only allowed as a customer to have one 90-day payment plan at a time. Let's see, what are some of the other typical questions? I think that's going to about cover them. So, see you next video.